Hello plant people, Nora the Leca Queen here. There's a word for what's happening to this plant. Most of us are not using it, and once you know it, once you understand what your plant is actually doing, the stretching stops being confusing and starts being something you can predict and prevent. This is my Thai constellation, and over here, this is my Rhaphidophora pertusa. Look at that stem. Look at those gaps between the leaves. Those internodal spaces are way too long. And here's the thing, it's sitting near a window. Not in a dark corner, not in a forgotten room, near a window. But near a window in a Melbourne autumn and winter is not enough. We call this legginess. I call this legginess. Most people do. But legginess is just a description of what it looks like. There's a whole biological program driving it, and that program has a name. Here's the part that gets overlooked in almost every conversation about leggy plants, at least that I've come across anyway. Adding more light now will not fix what has already happened. These long internodal spaces are permanent. That growth is done. The stem is not going to shrink back. The gaps are not going to close. The word you hear in plant circles is etiolation. I've used it in videos, in captions, in conversations. Etiolated, stretched, reaching for light. But here is where it gets really interesting, and I didn't know this until I went digging. If you trace the word etiolation back, it comes from the French word etiola. I'm probably mispronouncing that, which means to blanch or to make pale, pale like straw. That is the first clue that this word is describing something more specific than just stretching. It was also always about the color as well. True etiolation is what you see when a plant has been grown in almost complete darkness. The plant comes out pale, yellow, straw-colored, exactly where that French word comes from. It develops etioplasts instead of chloroplasts, the cells responsible for chlorophyll, for that green color. They never really develop, not properly anyway. So there's no green and there's no photosynthesis for this plant. But it's not just about color. Etiolated plants also produce long, weak, stretched stems and tiny, almost unopened leaves. The plant is putting absolutely everything into reaching upward. Find light, find light, find light, instead of growing properly. The stretching and the paleness are both part of the same response. That is full etiolation, and the process driving it has its own name, Skotomorphogenesis. Go on, Skotomorphogenesis. I've been practicing. This word is not here to intimidate you. It's here because once you understand what it means, you understand what your plant is actually doing, and that changes everything about what you do next. Skotomorphogenesis is the plant's dark specific growth program, the genetic and developmental response that kicks in when light is insufficient. Not enough light. Its primary goal is survival of the plant. The program tells the plant, push upwards, elongate, find light before you do anything else. Do not waste energy on leaves. Do not waste energy on chlorophyll. Just go up. Etiolation is what you get when that program is running. My Thai constellation is green. It has chlorophyll. So does my Rhaphidophora pertusa. It is not fully etiolated, and it has not gone through the full scotomorphogenic pathway, but it is absolutely running a version of that scotomorphogenic growth response. It's redirecting energy into stem length, stretching towards the window, producing fewer leaves with more space between them. It's somewhere on that spectrum. And understanding that this is not just a plant looking a little bit leggy. This is the plant running a survival program. That is what tells you what to do about it. What adding more light does, what it can do, is to stop the next growth from doing the same thing. The new leaves should come in with shorter spaces, more compact, and more like the way this plant is actually supposed to look. That is what I'm working toward, and I can pinpoint exactly when this stretching started. You know, probably somewhere about there. the moment this plant left the well-lit nursery and arrived in my home. So, what do you actually do about it? The short answer is adequate light. But what does adequate light actually mean? A decorative lamp with a leaf on the packaging is not going to cut it. I've made that mistake. I have absolutely been the person who bought something because it looked planty and hoped for the best. Your plant needs full spectrum light. It needs enough intensity. It needs consistency, hours per day, every day, especially through the darker months. The good news is that the grow light market has genuinely moved on. There are options now that don't require you to hang things from the ceiling, drill into your walls, or, and I say this from experience, subject your family to aggressive red and blue lighting in the living room. If you're finding this valuable, and I genuinely think that this is one of those concepts that changes how you look at your plants, please give it a like. It really does help the channel. Both lights I'm about to show you were gifted to me by Barrina. There's an affiliates link in the description with a small discount at no cost to you, and my opinions are completely my own. I've been living with these lights for months, and what I'm about to tell you is what I have actually experienced. Most grow lights assume you can hang something overhead. This one does not make that assumption. It stands beside your plant instead. No hook, no ceiling mount, and nowhere to clip anything. For me, this is normal in my house. I don't have those options. So having a light that can stand is definitely a winner. I can't attach things to my wall, and there's some spaces where it's just really difficult for me to get a grow light going. So this is really going to do it for me. The pole extends from 120 to 170 centimeters, which covers most large houseplants. I have mine at the taller end. I want the light running alongside the new growth so that the next leaves come in with tighter internodal spacing. That is the whole point of this exercise. When this light is living in your lounge room, it really honestly looks like a normal floor lamp. Well, I don't know if you can call that normal, but it's normal to me now. It's got a warm light, it's full spectrum. It comes with a mechanical timer socket in the box. You can set your hours once and it switches itself on and off from there. I've not thought about switching things on and off since. Assembling it? Under 10 minutes. No tools, which if you've ever assembled flat pack furniture, you will appreciate. No Allen keys in sight. Now, a few honest things from actually living with this light. It's bright. Whoa. Whoa. That reaction was not staged. If you are light sensitive or this will be running in a room where people spend time, it's worth knowing that it's actually quite bright before you buy it. I position mine so it is not directly in anyone's eye line, so that is not really an issue for me. And it also does get a little bit hot after extended use. Definition of extended use? A few hours? Don't know. It just gets a little bit hot. So keep that in mind whenever you go to move it. The T10 Pro is the solution for larger plants in open floor space. But what about shelves? What about spots a standing lamp simply cannot reach? These are the Barrina O9 Orb Grow puck lights. That's a bit of a mouthful. You can attach them onto the underside of each shelf level and they shine directly down onto the plants below. I've got them over there. They've got a pretty low profile and they're out of the way and no floor space is taken up. That's exactly what I was looking for right there, people. That's exactly what I wanted. Every level getting light, the Hoyas at the bottom no longer being shortchanged, all the Syngoniums having a really good time underneath that light. For plants I've spent this long getting established in Leca, building their root systems, getting their nutrient uptake working, making sure light is actually reaching them, feels really like the bare minimum. One thing that's worth flagging about the puck lights though, give your plants a little clearance rather than sitting them directly underneath, particularly anything with delicate foliage. The OG9 comes in a 4-pack, which is useful to know in case you've got a shelf with more than one level. The affiliate link for these lights is in the description, same deal as the T10 Pro. So here's what I want you to take away from this, and this applies whether you're buying these specific lights or not. When your plant is stretching, it's not just looking a bit leggy, it's running a survivor program. It's telling you very clearly that the light is not enough. The fix is not complicated, it's just specific. Full spectrum, enough intensity, consistent hours. Those stretched internodes are not going anywhere, but everything that grows from today forward, that's completely up to you. If this has changed how you think about leggy plants, or if you've been watching one of your own plants do exactly this and not quite known what was going on, I'd really love to hear about it in the comments. Which plant is doing this for you? How long has it been stretching and what did you do? I will be documenting what happens with the Thai constellation as the new growth comes in, whether those internodal spaces tighten up, and whether that plant starts to look more like itself again. Subscribe so you don't miss the follow-up. Both lights were gifted to me by Barrina, and the affiliate links are in the description, or you can scan this QR code. Using these links genuinely helps keep the channel going, so thank you if you do. If you want to go deeper on growing plants in Leca, 5 years of what works, what doesn't, and what I would do differently, that video is right here. I'll see you there.